Sam, let me just start with you in terms of the equities. Bob Bassani suggested earlier that people are concerned that they might be taking bailout money and that could imply a total loss for equity holders. What's the worst case scenario and what's priced in right now?
Oh, goodness. I mean, I don't think we know what's priced in because it keeps changing moment by moment. But what I do believe is that given, what's happening out there and the uncertainty of it all, the stores that have closed, the retailers that have closed their stores or brands that have closed their retail locations are making the only choice possible. And those that keep their stores open are at far greater risk of long-term problems.
What do you mean by that, Sam? What's the risk of keeping it open?
There's no customers out shopping. If one of your employees happens to get sick or get somebody else sick, this thing goes on. The coronavirus, the impact of the coronavirus continues. So I think that those retailers or brands that stay open, hoping for potential short-term sales gains, are going to get hurt in the long term, and those that have decided to close the stores and give up potential short-term sales that will likely not come anyway, will be far better positioned in the long term to do it. It's sort of a greater good story as far as I'm concerned.
So, Mickey, let me bring you in on that. If stores end up closing, kind of doing the Apple approach, closing for the indefinite future, what will that mean for their viability?
Well, I think the issue here is the demand shock that's going to create. We're already seeing curfews, quarantines, social distancing, et cetera. You add store closures to that. Most of these store closures, the companies are saying that they're going to pay their employees even if their stores are closed. So that means that they're actually paying, they're actually money out and nothing coming in terms of sales. And so when you look at the lower end of the retailers that have already been struggling because their liquidity is weak, or they have some operational execution issues, they don't have the scale, they can't compete. Even prior to the coronavirus issues, there were a lot of retailers that were going through a whole slew of problems.
Yeah.
This just exacerbates that problem where they have inventory, they can't sell it. That creates issues on working capital, liquidity, for these weaker players. We're hearing that a lot of the weaker players, a lot of the players are now drawing down on their revolving credit facilities, so they have some cushion on cash balances on the balance sheet. So this is going to be a big deal for those retailers that are weak already.
Right, and we were just talking with Steve Odlet about what role the credit agencies might play in exacerbating this. But to your point, there's a certain responsibility in separating the weaker players from the stronger ones. Sam, who are the stronger ones who you think can make it through this, continue to pay their employees if this thing drags on through the summer?
Well, I mean, we're sort of taking the point of view that this is going to run through April. But, I mean, look, I think that most people in my coverage universe are heavy in cash, so they're in pretty good shape. But, but to the point that weaker players, will have more trouble. If weaker players stay open and there's no customers, and I mean, it's the same difference as closing the stores. You might get a few people, but the risk of getting people sick and not having them. It doesn't, at this point, it just doesn't make a difference. So I agree that the weaker players are going to be the weaker players. And if weaker players are trying to get short-term sales and can't play, and the reason they're weaker is because generally their brands don't hold up as well as others, it's sort of like they're just doing what they've always done.
Right.
It doesn't make them. It's not. It's what got them here, and they're keep doing it. Those people that make the appropriate changes are going to survive better. Period.
All right, guys. Thanks, Sam Poser and Mickey Chadha, discussing the trouble for the retailers during this time. We appreciate it.